everybody, I'm Will. I'm the hashtag baking actor. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some scones, and they're strawberry scones that are really good, and so here we go. First, what I've done is I've sifted my flour and my sugar and my baking soda to baking powder. Don't get baking soda and baking powder confused. They're completely different products. Anyway, I've sifted all those together in a bowl, and I've put my butter straight in. And what you do is, instead of cutting it in with a knife or using a pastry cutter, you actually use your hands. They are clean, I promise. What you do is you just rub in the butter a little bit at a time, and I like to turn the bowl so that I don't touch the same pieces of butter and the flour and sugar at the same time. I'll put the recipe below so that you can see exactly the amount of each ingredient, but I feel like Julia Child. Julia Child would talk like this, and she said she just, she sometimes gets flabbergasted and she doesn't know what to say. So, see, it kind of looks like sand or wet sand. Say hello to my little friend. This is called a spurtle, and I have to thank my mother-in-law for giving me a spurtle that she got off of QVC. But I've made a well in the middle, and then I'm just incorporating a little bit of the heavy cream into my flour mixture. Now, the next thing you have to do is, while that's still pretty dry, is put your strawberries in. You can use any kind of fruit that you want to, but these have been macerated for, I've been prepping for about 30 minutes, not because of necessarily it takes that long, but I prepped the strawberries and put a tablespoon or half a tablespoon of sugar onto the strawberries so they can macerate, and it's about a cup of strawberries, so you want to put those in. That does add a little bit of liquid as well. And with your spurtle, if you don't have a spurtle, you can just use a wooden spoon, totally fine. Just start to fold in the ingredients, turning your bowl all together. And I like to do it this way first, and then you'll notice that the dough gets really kind of sticky and clumpy together. Totally fine. That's what it's supposed to look like. Don't be afraid. A lot of people are like, oh, screw it, I'm just going to go get my own scones at a bakery. But I promise, this is really, really easy. If I can do it, you can do it. All right, so I've kind of got these to where it's a little bit more incorporated. There, can you see it? Okay, and now your hands are already dirty from incorporating the butter. Stick them in there. This is the best part. All right, this would be so great to do with kids, I think, because they could help you, incorporate stuff, not necessarily using the knife to cut the strawberries, but whatever. So, anyhow, so we're gonna get this started to combine a little bit. So, I'm creating a ball over the dough. I'm sorry, creating a ball of dough over the bowl. Ha, there we go. And just incorporate all of this stuff together. Now, this is going to be pretty sticky because the strawberries have given us a little bit of water, right, that we're putting into here. As well, we've got the butter and we've got the heavy cream, okay? So, now, I've got a little bit of a ball here created. Now I'm going to get rid of the bowl, and I'm going to dust a board here. This is a marble top, all right? So, got that here. I'm going to just knead it a little bit. You don't want too much gluten to come into the dough because you don't want them to get dense and bready, even though they are a scone. All right, so make it go out till about it's 12 inches or so. Okay, that looks good. Great. Looks good. So I've prepped my pan with a piece of parchment paper. This is just a normal baking sheet with a piece of parchment paper in the middle. So I'm going to take a pizza cutter and just cut it straight across. That way, and that way. Okay, great. So now you have 8 slices that are pretty equidistant, right? And then, oh, since it's pretty sticky, oh, shit. I lost my spatula. Be right back. I'm just using a spatula to lift it off and place them on your pan. Okay? This one in the middle here looks a little bit like a gargoyle. So I'm gonna fix her up just a scotch. Then the good thing about having the parchment paper on your pan is if it feels like they're too close to one side or the other, you can just pull the parchment paper. All right, here's what they look like before they go into the oven. 400-degree oven for 15 minutes. See, that's the oven timer, has about 20 seconds off. Okay, so what you don't want to happen is for the sugar to burn while they're cooking, since it's at such a high temperature. So sprinkle these with, I've just got some brown, it's not brown sugar, but it's kind of cane sugar that hasn't been all the way pulverized into the fine sugar that we use for the rest of recipes or whatever. So it's got a little bit of color to it as well. Just sprinkle these with that, and then they go back in the oven so that the sugar can kind of crystallize on here and brown on here. For my oven, it's about 7 minutes, and what I've discovered is since these are kind of starting to brown a little bit on top, then they're hot. Okay, they just came out at 400 degrees. So now what I have here is a cooling rack. And it's gonna be, you have to just do it really fast, right? So just pull them up, put them on the cooling rack. It's gonna be hot like a hot potato. A little bit drizzly, like that. All right, so then these have cooled for a while. Remember, you got your parchment paper under here as not to make anything a mess. So we can just drizzle it on top, like so. And when it gets dry, it will be kind of crispy and hard so that it gives a good contrast to what's going on in the scone. Yeah, there we go. I made this yesterday, and I made the same recipe yesterday, I should say, and the icing wasn't quite as drizzly, and it was like hard to get the icing on here. So I would actually just recommend it being a little bit more runny, like this. And if it comes too runny, like you put too much milk in it, all you have to do is put a little bit more confectioner sugar back into it so that it stiffens up a bit. That's all you gotta do. These are easy peasy recipes. I love it when I crack myself up, because a lot of times I don't crack anybody else up. So, but it's nice if you can crack your own self up. All right. I would call that done and done. These will last about 3 days in some sort of airtight container, and we just warm them up for just slightly for breakfast, and they're really good. So check out the recipe at the bottom here. I'll list all the items, and tell me if you like what I'm doing. More than anything, I want to hear from you, because without you, I'm just Will in the kitchen making stuff by myself. So I'm the #bakingactor. Enjoy the show, and thank you for joining me. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. See you later.